For norsk-pakistanske Deeyah har det å være først vært mye annet enn befriende. Hun platedebuterte 15 år gammel og ble spådd en lysende karriere som den første store artisten med innvandrerbakgrunn. Men trusler og trakassering fikk henne til å flykte utenlands og slutte som artist. Nå bor hun i London og jobber som musikkprodusent og filmskaper. Fortsatt venter hun på sin arvtager i Norge.
I think it's been 17 or 18 years since I left Norway. I was wishing and hoping that there would be somebody who would pick up and run and continue. And unfortunately, that's not been the case. And I think the experiences that I had are a part of the reason why women don't do it. I didn't realize that what I was doing was going to incite such negative responses and that it was considered such a negative thing for a woman to do music. When I was doing it, I didn't understand that. And the reason I didn't understand that is because my father and the family that I come from, my immediate family, is very liberal. They're very supportive and encouraging of the arts. So it was something that was celebrated in our household, but in the majority of households, of people who come from similar communities, that's not the case. Being a woman and being an artist, I think, of any background, I think puts you up against certain challenges, and I think it puts you up against a sort of unequal industry, if you will. First of all, it's an industry that is very heavily male overall. So that's one challenge that if you're a woman of any background you face and you're up against. And then I think in addition to that, the cultural expectations of what is considered acceptable behavior for a woman. There's old traditional patriarchal viewpoints of what kind of participation is acceptable when it comes to women. And so if you're a woman of my background, you don't necessarily, so if you look at the professions that could be acceptable and afforded to you, music in particular is not something that you will consider. You feel okay?
Yes, okay for you? A little in the morning.
Deeyah vil gi undertrykte kvinnelige kunstnere muligheten til å bli hørt. Et prosjekt iranske sangere som ikke får opptre i hjemlandet.
One of the reasons I've set up my own music company and one of the reasons I have put myself in the position of a producer instead of a performer is I believe I can affect much more change sitting here. And I know it makes it more difficult for a lot of people to deal with me, but that's also the point. The point is change will only happen if we make it inevitable for people, for the old boys, to have to deal with us. So in this position, they have to deal with me. It's not just a young little artist, performer girl who has to listen to them. Now I am their peer. Now I'm their equal, and they have to deal with me, even if they don't want to, just the same as if I was one of their guy friends. I love that. I mean, I'm sorry. I love pushing that edge a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, because that's the only way it'll become normalized. We have to make it normal. We have to make it every day. We have to make it it has to become a given. I think solidarity is one of the most important things in life, and also especially when it comes to this. When I experienced some of the things that I experienced, I felt very alone. And what I decided at that point is that I want to do everything I possibly can to make sure if anyone else comes up against that feeling of standing completely isolated and completely alone, that if I know about it, I will try to be of some support. I think we can't give up on women, and women can't give up on themselves, and I don't think that they do. And I think we can facilitate progress, we can facilitate positive change So we have to play an active part in doing that. But in terms of am I optimistic about the talent that's out there and the ability and the creativity of women? Absolutely. I mean, I'm inspired by it and I'm in awe of it. And I wish for it to be included in the complete human experience. The human experience will never be complete if 50% of it is not represented and reflected.